really need to start checking the weather before I schedule the days I'm gonna record videos, because I feel like every time I have scheduled a day to record in the past like 2 months, it has always ended up being on a day where the weather outside is just the absolute worst, and like the kind of weather that makes me want to just be in bed all day. It is currently snowing and raining outside at the same time. Like, that is nasty. Like, make up your mind. That is disgusting weather. I like snow and I like rain. I don't like when they're happening at the same time. Granted, I haven't been outside, but just looking at it is making me miserable. And I just want to go to bed. But anyway, that's not why we're here. We're not here for me to rant about the weather today. I know you see the title of this video. And if you've been watching me for a while, you're probably like, Jojo, you're kind of the last person who should be talking about burnout, because you've been burnt out every semester since you started school. Okay, are you wrong? No, but let me explain. I think that because I've been chronically burnt out for like 1.5 years now, I am probably the best person to tell you how to not become me. Like, who better to steer you away from the path of becoming a complete mess than the person who is a complete mess? It is me. I am the mess. No, but seriously, if you've been keeping up with my PhD journey thus far, which honestly doesn't even feel like it's been that long. It's only been 1.5 years. But if you've been keeping up with my PhD journey so far, then you are probably very aware of just how difficult fall semester was for me this year. It was a complete wreck on many fronts, okay? Not just school-wise, but my personal life too was a train wreck. But fall semester really put a lot of things in perspective for me in terms of like how I take care of myself. And while I did make a video last year about the ways in which I recognize and recover from my burnout, I like cringe now when I think about the fact that I actually made that video. But it's there. If you ever want to watch it, go ahead. But even though I made that video, I am now going into this next semester making an intentional effort to put my energy into not feeling burnout at all. Because who knew? Who knew that that should be the goal? Not me. I didn't know that, at least not until recently. But yeah, so when I got a comment requesting that I make a video about how to better balance a grad school workload in order to not get burnout, I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity for me to share with y'all the steps that I'm going to be taking going into this next semester in order to achieve that. And hopefully, if you're not already doing all or some of these things, then my sharing them will inspire you to put yourself first, because that's what I'll be doing. So let's get into it. Hey, hello, my name is Jojo and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, welcome. So the first thing I will be doing, that I kind of have already started doing, honestly, but the first thing I'm going to be doing is saying no more and taking on less. Towards the end of last semester, the amount of stress that I was feeling really did force me to start saying no more than I was comfortable with. I was saying no to my advisor, I was saying no to colleagues, I was saying no to friends. I was just saying a lot of no. And I just had to say no, because mentally, had I taken on anything else at that point, I probably would have had a nervous breakdown. And this saying no also went for things that were already in progress. So as y'all know, I had a lot planned for last semester when it came to my dissertation. I had kind of already started working on a bunch of things, both working towards my dissertation and also kind of following up on a few things from my master's thesis. And I had to hit pause on all of that. I just woke up one day and like could not do any research work because I was mentally falling apart. And so I had to say no for the time being. And I realized that even though like I really did feel like shit at first for saying no to a lot of people, because like I'm a PhD student, I should be doing more, and all of my colleagues are doing so much more than I am, and I'm not doing enough. And after about a day or two of feeling like that, you wanna know what I felt? Relief. It felt so good to not wake up every day and just be like going until it was time for me to go to bed. And I don't want to go back. I like not feeling like that. So going forward, I'm gonna keep saying no, because no assignment, no research project, no nothing is worth my mental health and well-being. So that's that on that. Say no. The next thing I, again, have kind of already started doing and will continue to do is prioritizing my tasks on my to-do list. So again, kind of towards the end of fall semester and into winter break, I started doing this thing, and it's really nothing new. I've heard of this strategy being used before. I've just never tried it for myself. But I started not just like making my usual daily to-do list, because I've always done that, but I started prioritizing my to-do list in a way that helps it feel more manageable for me. So instead of just kind of like listing everything I need to get done and then feeling overwhelmed because there's just so much on there, I break it up into 3 categories. So the first category is things that absolutely need to get done that day. The second category is things that should probably get done within that week. And then the third category is things that I would like to get done that week, but if they end up getting pushed to the next week, it's like not a big deal. And so splitting up my to-do list like this was really helpful in making sure that I put my focus and energy into the things that absolutely needed to get done. Because at the time, that was all I could manage every day. It was getting done what needed to get done. And so even if I didn't do a lot, and I'm putting that in quotations because it's very subjective, but even though I didn't always get what someone would consider a lot done, I would still end every day feeling like I was productive. And I like feeling productive. It's a nice feeling. And so I've kept this strategy going pretty much through the winter break. Like I mentioned, I had externship applications to do during winter break. And so I kind of kept this strategy going as a way to make sure that I got my externship applications done with like as little anxiety as possible. Didn't always work, because externship applications in and of themselves are stressful and anxiety provoking, but I got them done. And overall, this strategy has really helped me be able to go to sleep at night not stressed over how much I did or didn't get done. And again, I like that feeling. So I'm gonna hold on to it. The third thing I'm gonna be doing is setting reasonable and achievable goals and deadlines. So this one is kind of like an extension of number 2 on my list, because in the past, whenever I've had like a major project that I was working on, I would always end up setting these really like ambitious goals and deadlines for myself that pretty much required me to run myself ragged in order to get everything done in time. I did this with my master's thesis. I've done this with class projects. I was doing it last semester with my dissertation. And when I was doing this, rather than getting the project done and then feeling accomplished afterwards, I would always end up feeling, number 1, exhausted, but then also just beating myself up because I felt like I didn't have enough time to do my best possible work. And so going into this next semester and beyond, I've made an effort to set goals and deadlines for myself that are actually achievable without me having to work myself to the bone to get them done. And also deadlines and goals that are reasonable for the pace at which I naturally do my best work. I'm not someone who can just sit in front of a computer screen for hours on end and bang out a bunch of work. My brain turns to mush whenever I try to do that. And even though I realized this a while ago, I have finally accepted that I am someone who needs to take breaks often when I'm working in order to make sure that I stay focused and do my best possible work. And let me tell you, this is not something that a lot of people like. Being this type of person may not sit well if you work on a team with folks who are just all about getting things done as quickly as possible. But I will say, if you're getting criticized or getting pushback on how you work, if this is how you work, then maybe that's a sign that the people you're working with need to learn a thing or two from you. That's all I'm saying. But also the strategy goes for not just research, but like all of my work in general. So I plan to do this with my class assignments this coming semester. I already have a couple of my syllabi So I'm just gonna go ahead and look at, you know, dates where big projects are due, any like big assignments or papers, put those in my calendar now so that I already have my due dates, and then begin to slowly work on those assignments over the course of the semester. The next thing I will be doing is making, not finding, time for myself. I just realized like how like motivational speaker-y that sounds, you know? You have to make, not find time for yourself. Maybe I missed my calling. Maybe I should be a motivational speaker. No. I make too many self-deprecating jokes to do that. But yes, I will be making, not finding, time for myself. So I made a video last year about how I keep myself organized using calendar blocking. And for the most part, that is still very true for me. I do still calendar block a good chunk of my time every week. But something that I realized last semester was that rather than making sure that I set aside time for myself to do the things that I know will keep me like functional, like eat or take breaks or just do like whatever it was I needed to do for me, I fell into this habit of scheduling everything that I needed to do for my week that was like school and work related, and then finding and squeezing in my time for things like eating and resting, where basically wherever there was empty space on my calendar. And so as you can imagine, that became a problem very quickly. So what I'm trying to do now as I go into this next semester is to only calendar block like my absolutely unmovable things. So like work and classes. So I'm gonna put those in my calendar first. And then I'm going to go in and add in the times that I know are the times I need for me. So like throughout winter break, I've kind of fallen into this routine of knowing when I need to take breaks depending on how long I've been working, or like when I need to eat in order to make sure that I am functional. So I'm gonna put all of those times in there, like an hour for lunch, you know, an hour for dinner, you know, 30-minute breaks at specific times that I already know I will more than likely need to take a break. I've also realized that I've started like kind of dedicating chunks of time to run errands because I'm now like in such a routine that I know how long it's going to take me to do my grocery shopping, go to the farmer's market, all of that. So I'm also going to put like dedicated time to run errands in there. And then I'm just going to work everything else around that. So lab meetings, one-on-ones with my advisor, any like extracurricular class activities that aren't already on my schedule, like TA sessions or whatever. All of that's just gonna have to work around what I need, and that's just gonna be that. I hope I can maintain that. I really do. So wish me luck on that one. We'll see how long it lasts. My goal is all semester, but we'll see. And then finally, the last thing I plan to do is to give myself more grace. I, in general, need to get better at not beating myself up when things don't go as planned, or when things don't turn out right, or when something doesn't get done, or just pretty much anything. I just really need to stop feeling guilty when I feel like I've messed up, even though I didn't. And so I am going forward into this next semester with more grace for myself and knowing that I am human and there will be times where things don't get done or I fall behind, and it's not the end of the world. Because what's most important is that I am healthy. That is the priority, is to keep me healthy this semester. And I suggest you try this too, because as students, grad students, PhD students especially, we are very often made to feel like if something isn't absolutely perfect, then it's not good enough. And we are not good enough. And that is wrong. Just so wrong. So join me in trying to let go of that perfectionist brain that has been ingrained in us because of the education system, and just give yourself some grace because we all deserve it. So those are the few things that I'll be doing going into spring semester that will hopefully help me, if not entirely avoid feeling burnt out, then at least help me not end up like I did last semester. I was down bad at the end of last semester. I was down bad. So yeah, like I said, hopefully if you're not already doing some of these things, then I've now shared them with you and we can work towards this together. You know, I'm gonna continue doing my monthly updates that I've been doing since I started my PhD program. So we'll be able to keep up with my mental health and mood this semester. And hopefully I'm able to maintain all of these things through May. And hopefully if you're in school, then you will too. So yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I truly appreciate it. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and click that little notification bell so you don't miss my next video. And I'll see you in my next one.